Good afternoon, everyone. Coming up in the news, 2 people have been sentenced over the murder of a Newnham man in 2016. Cardinal George Pell has been sacked from the Pope's inner circle of advisers, with the Vatican citing his age for the decision. British Prime Minister Theresa May survives a leadership battle. So, what's her new strategy for Brexit? The online gamer accused of live streaming an assault on his pregnant girlfriend fronts court for the first time. And a warning to Tasmanians: could you be a part of the 1 in 4 receiving the wrong amount of super? Join your news team right here at 6. First tonight, 2 people sentenced over the brutal stabbing murder of Launceston man Aaron Matthew Monaco. Cardinal George Pell sacked from the Pope's inner circle of advisers, with the Vatican citing his age for the decision. The federal government to establish an integrity commission cracking down on corruption. British Prime Minister Theresa May survives a party room leadership challenge. The warning to Tasmanian workers this Christmas about their super. And the state's northwest joins the race to become a mountain biking icon.
Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The family of a man brutally murdered has watched his killers be sentenced to more than 20 years behind bars. Today, a judge described the murder of Aaron Matthew Monaco as utterly senseless, labelling his murderers callous and selfish.
A devastated family leaves court, relieved at finally seeing justice served.
Aaron was a much-loved son, brother, nephew and friend to many.
Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
A 29-year-old man is in police custody tonight following an alleged wounding in Howrah this morning. Bellerive CIB is investigating the matter, where a 40-year-old man received a deep laceration to his hand. Tasmania Police says a sharp object was used during the incident. Anyone with information is asked to contact Crime Stoppers. Australia's most senior Catholic, Cardinal George Pell, has been cut from the Pope's inner circle, the so-called Group of 9. At the age of 77, he's one of 3 older cardinals to be rotated out of the Advisory Council.
Marking 200 years since it was formed, the St Mary's Cathedral Choir, the oldest in the country. Whatever happens in relation to his legal issues on historic sex offence charges, his career at the Vatican is now over. Chris Reason, 7 News.
The federal government will establish an integrity commission to crack down on corruption by Commonwealth employees. The Prime Minister says it will have real resources and teeth, but it's already being slammed by Labor as too little too late.
Criticised for not acting sooner on a federal corruption commission,
we haven't kicked up a lot of dust about this.
Scott Morrison says his government wanted to get it right. Mark Riley, 7 News.
The UK Prime Minister has survived an attempted coup, but the day still ended in confusion. It remains unclear how the Brexit stalemate will be broken. Theresa May walked out of the spill the winner, but her victory was bitter. 200 MPs voted for her to remain, 117 wanted her gone, meaning her draft plan could still fail to pass Parliament.
The Christmas tree almost blocks the entrance, but Theresa May confidently found her way back to number 10 overnight. A blatant knifing, but no blood spilt.
And Laurel Irving joins us from London. Good evening, Laurel. What's next for the British Prime Minister?
Joe, now that Theresa May has claimed victory here at home, she heads to the European Commission for what's likely to be an even tougher fight. But she has to extract some sort of compromise from Europe if she has any chance of getting her Brexit deal through. Brexit is due to happen in March.
Certainly is. Thank you very much for that. Laurel Irving joining us there from London. The pregnant partner of a gamer who live-streamed an alleged domestic assault has appealed to a magistrate to allow him to go back home. 26-year-old Luke Monday faced court today, where his history of violent offending was revealed.
If reality hadn't already set in, it did for this gamer today.
It was a video game. Was it worth all this?
Will you be pleading guilty or not? Fellow gamers could be called as witnesses. Ashley Hansen, 7 News.
Tasmanians are being urged to check their superannuation after revelations about the rate of unpaid super. An investigation using tax office data has found almost 60,000 local workers are missing out on more than $100 million.
Toiling away at work, we're building our retirement nest egg, slowly accumulating superannuation payments from our employers. Michael Breen, 7 Tasmania News.
Federal Energy Minister Angus Taylor has assured the public the plan for Tasmania to become the battery of the nation is not only on track but ahead of schedule. Hydro Tasmania saying an additional Bass Strait interconnection would instantly unlock hundreds of megawatts currently lying dormant.
Arriving at Poatina this morning, Angus Taylor was pumped to talk power.
Well, this is a pretty quick process. We're moving at a rate of knots here. We've gone through consultation over the last couple of months.
Jessie Gilmore, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's northwest has joined the race to snare the growing number of mountain bikers heading to the state. The first 15 kilometres of an ambitious track has opened to riders, but there's still more to come.
It's hoped this will be the next hotspot for riders looking to tear up the trail. Snaking along the river and climbing over hills. Wild Mersey certainly isn't short on good views. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
After rather questionable reviews, the Launceston's Brisbane Street Mall transformation has been officially opened. Today, representatives of all 3 levels of government, which funded the multi-million-dollar makeover, united in cutting the ribbon. Launceston's Mayor Albert Van Zetten admitted reactions to the changes have been mixed.
Lately more positive than negative, which is absolutely fantastic. And what people are starting to realise is, with the upgrade, what this space can be used for. And we saw that very clearly just a few weeks ago with the lighting of the Christmas tree. We had thousands of people right here in the mall, and we had room for everybody, and that was fantastic, and that was the reason that we've made some of these changes.
Stage 1 of the Launceston City deal will now turn its attention to transforming St John Street, which is scheduled to take place next year. Stay with us, still to come in our broadcast tonight. A dramatic rescue in Texas as a child is thrown to safety from a burning home. From fixer to prisoner, Donald Trump's former right-hand man learns his fate. And the latest campaign aiming to protect wildlife on Tasmanian roads. Welcome back. Authorities are clamping down on fires as we head deeper into summer. The requirement for fire permits will be extended statewide from Saturday. The TFS says it allows them to keep track of fires and ensure they're done safely, but it's not aimed at discouraging bushfire hazard reduction burns. Permits are already required in the southern and eastern regions and parts of the northwest coast. A new tourist-focused campaign is hoping to drive down the number of animals being killed on Tasmanian roads. Experts suggest more than 500,000 wildlife are killed throughout the state every year, a number this project is aiming to curb.
She's only small, but this little wallaby Wendy and her Joey Walter are new mascots for a campaign to save their furry and feathered friends.
The silly season is alive and well on Sydney streets with yet another brutal road rage episode. 2 men confronted a BMW driver who was wreaking havoc before he taunted them to fight.
It's the moment 2 angry drivers realised words had failed them and neither felt they could walk away.
Tennis coach Nick Philippoussis will no longer face trial on charges of child sexual assault. The 68-year-old father of tennis star Mark Philippoussis has had his charges dismissed after he was found to be too sick to face a jury. A mother and son have escaped their burning home in Texas with the help of emergency crews. Police body camera captured their dramatic rescue after intense flames trapped the pair inside their second-floor apartment. Tom Cooper will be joining us a little later in the bulletin with a look at the day's sport news. With the state's best surfers set to battle it out for club bragging rights. A red-hot Manchester City through to the Champions League knockout stage. And the Indian camp rocked just a day out from the second test. Those stories for you shortly, but first after the break we'll recap the day's headlines, and then drivers rescued from their roofs as a month's worth of rain falls around Victoria. And the pay fight between Tasmania's teachers and the government takes a festive turn. Welcome back. These are some of the stories making headlines tonight. The family of a man brutally murdered have watched his killers sentenced to more than 20 years behind bars. Cardinal Pell sacked from the Pope's inner circle of advisors, with the Vatican citing his age for the decision. The federal government to establish an integrity commission cracking down on corruption. And Tasmanians urged to check their superannuation after revelations almost 60,000 local workers are missing out on more than $100 million. Will Hodgman has received an unusual Christmas gift today, with the Australian Education Union hand-delivering more than 2,000 handwritten postcards to his electorate office. Today's move is the result of failed negotiations over the government's 2% wage cap.
They've been filled out by principals, teachers and support staff from all around Tasmania to send a message to the Premier to say, start listening to us.
More than 20 people have been rescued from floodwaters after a summer deluge dumped a month's worth of rain in country Victoria today. The SES has received more than 400 calls for help, and major roads became rivers, stranding motorists.
The busy Hume heading in and out of Wangaratta turned from a freeway to a waterway. 120 vehicles were trapped in dangerous rising floodwaters.
Let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. Banking and mining stocks lifted the Australian share market higher, but gains were limited by a slump from the telco sector after the competition watchdog raised concerns over TPG's planned merger with Vodafone Australia. The ASX 200 index has risen by 8.1 points. And just a short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 72.29 US cents and 82 Japanese yen. Sport time now with Tom Cooper. Good evening, Tom. The bad news has been confirmed by the Hobart Hurricanes.
Good evening, Joe. Yes, star international Hayley Matthews will miss up to 6 weeks with injury. More on that coming up. Also after the break, Alex Doolan eyeing off a big BBL campaign, and the Aussies preparing to make waves at the iconic Pipe Masters event in Hawaii. Welcome back to cricket first, and Australia's hopes of levelling the series have received a double boost, with two-star Indian players ruled out of the second test beginning in Perth tomorrow. And if the forecast is any indication, the heat will well and truly be on.
A new stadium, and most of the attention has been on the drop-in pitch. It promises to be a typical Perth wicket. Our coverage begins from 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Jim Wilson, 7 News.
Still on cricket, and there will be extra incentive for both Melbourne teams in this season's Big Bash derbies. The Stars and the Renegades have partnered with Maddie's Vision.
Hopefully we can pack out an MCG and have a whole MCG in purple instead of green and red, and it'll look amazing. Hawthorn players have arrived on the Sunshine Coast for a gruelling pre-Christmas training camp. The Hawks are looking for a new captain and also a few answers after a disappointing straight sets finals exit.
Touching down for 8 days of pre-season pain in paradise, the Hawks refuse to admit they're carrying any extra baggage after failing to win a final.
The state's most exciting young surfers are set to battle it out for the chance to go head-to-head with some of the best talent Australia has ever produced. And with club bragging rights on the line, a competition is expected to be fierce. It's grown into the most popular event on the state's surfing calendar. And finally in sports, scoring a hole-in-one is hard enough for professionals, let alone amateurs. But Oliver Larkin's effort is truly remarkable. Oliver only has one arm and aced the 11th at Green Acres yesterday.
I'm quite a good golfer with one arm. I don't believe that you need two arms for golf. It's a body shot.
Oliver's already set his sights on scoring 2 holes in one in the same round. What an effort, Joe. I would have plonked it straight in the water.
It was a huge effort. Thanks so much for that, Tom. Well, coming up after the break, Peter Murphy will join us with the weather.
Good evening. Well, are you loving all the rain? I guess it'll turn up sometime. We did have a fall or two over King Island in the far northwest today. Meanwhile, Hobart reached 24 degrees, Launceston 25, Burnie 18 and Devonport 22. Cressy, Ouse, Grove and Campania 26, Strawn 24, Flinders Island 21 today, Smithton, Low Head and Friendly Beaches 19, King Island and St Helens 18, with some of those numbers up to 5 degrees below average. There is extensive cloud over the north and parts of the east coast today, a little thin elsewhere around Tasmania, but more to come. Plenty of cloud over southeast Australia, extending through Queensland to join with severe tropical cyclone Owen. Tomorrow, a low-pressure zone deepens over Victoria. Owen is still active over the far north, as are the troughs. The next high is to our west. The winds east to southeast at 15 to 25 knots, reaching 30 knots over the north, swells at 2.5 metres. Strong wind warning from Sandy Cape to St Helens Point and also from southeast Cape to Low Rocky Point. Into tomorrow we go, a humid day, partly cloudy and 23 for Hobart, 23 also for Huonville, same sort of forecast for Campania, one better on the scorecard, 24. 26 for Launceston, possible light rain. Possible rain for Devonport as well, 23 and 25, the top for Georgetown. Burnie, humid, light rain. At times, 22, 27 the top for Strawn, a humid day as well, mostly sunny though in the west, 22 the top for Wynyard. And for St Helens, a humid day with a bit of rain, 19 the top, 20 for Swansea, humid and partly cloudy for Port Arthur and 22 degrees. UV as high as 12. On Saturday, rain statewide with locally heavy falls over the north and east, a possible thunderstorm thrown in. A similar forecast has been posted for Sunday. The easterly winds will turn more northwesterly. And on Monday, a showery day, easing during the afternoon and contracting to the south. A very hot sunny day in Perth tomorrow. Showers for Adelaide, rainy over Melbourne, rain also for Sydney and storms forecast for Canberra, Brisbane and Darwin. A lot of the state still waiting for the rain. Hobart cloudy at the moment, 21 degrees, 22 in Launceston, cloudy in Devonport and 20. Got to say, Joe, tropical cyclone Owen has been very interesting. It started off on the Coral Sea about a week ago, lost a bit of puff, now redeveloped over the Gulf of Carpentaria, and over the next couple of days is going to be a severe low pressure zone over the north of the nation, and will start tracking down the east coast of Queensland. So plenty of action up there.
Certainly looks that way. Thank you very much for that, Murph. Before we leave you tonight, it looks like a scene out of the movie Willy Wonka. A river of chocolate was sent streaming down a road in Germany after a tank at a nearby factory overflowed. The cold weather meant the chocolate solidified, leaving behind a sticky situation for clean-up crews. The road was closed while they cleared away the delicious mess. Locals have been assured there will still be enough chocolate for Christmas. And that's all from the news team for now. Thanks so much for your company. We'll see you with updates throughout the evening. Bye-bye.